But in 1933, the vision of another kind of conquest took shape. In the new age of the aeroplane, might not man with wings succeed where man on foot had failed? Aircraft were shipped out, filming organized, and the expedition duly assembled in India. I know that for me, the slightly wooden performances, the noticeably stiff upper lips of the expedition members, and the rather crackly 1930s soundtrack only add, and most movingly, to the charm and authenticity of this record of a great adventure, filmed as it actually unfolded.
Absolute crest, the pinnacle of the world, and we know no more about it than we do of the moon.
The last mystery, Blacker.
Atherton, are you on for a really first-class show?
Well, I'm not for climbing up Mount Everest, if that's what you mean. Don't let's forget the last expedition.
Well, Irvin and Mallory got within 1,000 feet of it.
Yes, but they never came back. 3 years of preparation, and then to wind up like that.
Well, do realize you could put Everest on the map in 3 hours.
You're still thinking of the air.
Why not? A good plane, a camera shooting down, you could record every detail.
I wonder.
And so, in sight of the snows, the resolve was born that one day man should look down on mysteries hidden since the birth of time. A resolve that was to call together in London a company of men fitted for this high adventure.
If you take it on, fellows, our personnel will be complete. Clydesdale will be first pilot, Blacker chief observer, McIntyre will be second pilot to Lord Clydesdale. Bonnet will look after the film photography. You fellows are the obvious man to take charge.
There's no doubt about it. If we get going, fellows should have charge.
You say if. If we're going to make a start this year, there's not much time left. After April, the monsoon in the Himalayas would make the flight impossible.
Quite correct. Clydesdale's visit to Scotland is our last chance for the spring.
You tell me thrills me through and through. But I'm not going to help you commit suicide.
Oh, there's very little chance of that, Lady Houston. We worked it all out most thoroughly.
But isn't it most terribly dangerous?
No more than walking across Hampstead Heath on a foggy night. But seriously, of course it's the highest mountain in the world. It's true there must be some risk, but isn't it a risk well worthwhile?
Of course. It requires a lot of careful consideration. It's an immense adventure. That's what appeals to me. I agree. I'll help.
Thus, the generosity of an Englishwoman kindled the project into life, setting brains to work, planning, devising, computing to a pound's weight and a single horsepower what manner of machine might accomplish the great flight. Women nimbly stitching the special flying suits, electrically warmed to ward off deadly cold. Chemists purifying, drying, compressing oxygen that man might breathe and live at breathless heights. Refining, blending special fuels to hold the engines to their fullest power at rare altitudes. Engineers casting, molding, cutting, building engines soon to break with deep-throated roar the age-old silence above the summit of the world.
All ready? No?
Okay.
Towards the end of January, the day came for the skill of the designer to meet a critical test. The finished aeroplanes must be weighed against the designer's estimate. No room for error. A few pounds too much, and the machines might fail to clear the summit. On the 11th of February, the two planes, complete and safely stowed in huge crates, left by sea for India, to be assembled by the Royal Air Force at Karachi. On the 20th of March, the planes took off from Karachi, up and onward for 1,500 miles over India to the north and east, bound for Purnia, on the great plains below the grand Himalayan range. flying low over the cities of Rajputana, over palaces and fortresses centuries old in war and history. Past the new city of Delhi, where the white buildings of government rise beside the ruins of older cities of Delhi, long since crumbled into dust. Over that most holy place where the river Jamna flows into the sacred river Ganges.
Now, I first want to clear up this forced landing business. Well, the first 50 miles of the flight is over excellent forced landing country, but of course it will be possible to pull off a satisfactory crash landing much nearer the mountain. Blacker, you know this country. We'd like to hear your views.
Well, as Clydesdale has said, from here till we cross the Mahabharat range, it's remarkably good. Then from here onwards to this great peak Chumlung, we might be able to find small level patches. From Chumlung onwards to Mount Everest itself, any idea of a landing is just out of the question.
Almost as if Everest knew of man's approach and was resolved to guard her secret, a time of violent storms set in. Raging winds, blizzards of snow and hail swept the mountaintops, and a pall of cloud came down upon the foothills. At last, on the 3rd day of April, dawn broke fair, and a reconnaissance plane put up from Purnia.
Well, what's the wind velocity? It's dropped considerably. No problem. 57 miles at 33,000. Well, I think that's about the best we're likely to get.
How's the visibility?
17,000 as a haze and no clouds. You prepared to go, Clydesdale?
I am indeed.
And you, McIntyre?
Rather, let's get on with it.
Well, come on, let's get our transversals down.
Right, I'll go and get the engine machines out.
Where's Bonnet? Come along, Bonnet.
You should be with us. Bonnet, Mr. Pitt there. Sergeant Greenwood. So we've decided to go, get the machines out, and stand by to start up the engine. Oh, turn from the engine. Get the covers off.
Oh! Mind your heater leads.
Yes.
Keep her going.
Steady there.
Mind that ring on the left.
I keep her moving.
Warming up to it, isn't it?
Now, about this business of the heating and the oxygen,
Yes.
if anything goes wrong, it's absolutely your discretion, and there's no good being heroic. The only thing is for you to tell the pilot definitely to go back. Anything goes wrong with either of them. Is that done, Paul?
Quite okay, George. Put them in.
Righto, just coming.
Well, where's opening?
Here we are.
After 20 minutes' flight, the character of the land changed abruptly. Like mountains rising sheer from a lake shore, the foothills suddenly appeared. From deep valleys, banks of clouds spilled over, rolling slowly upward to bar the way.
Going up now.
What?
Up. Over clouds.
In a few minutes, the clouds were far below, and the aeroplanes, still climbing, were 16,000 feet higher than the highest peak in Britain, and well above the highest mountain in the whole of Europe. The crews had now begun to draw on their supply of oxygen. The flying suits, which had been a burden almost insupportable in the stifling heat of the Pernia landing ground, were becoming welcome. Safe landing ground was still within gliding reach. The first and easiest part of the flight was done. Now the second phase of the flight began. For the first time, man was to look down upon the roof of the world, the majestic Himalayan range crowned by more than 70 peaks higher than any other peak on Earth. Across the unknown, Kanchenjunga towered up, a few feet only lower than Everest herself. Over a terrific land of cliffs, glaciers, and gorges. With the knowledge that should the engines or the oxygen fail, there was one slender hope, that the pilot might find beneath the clouds some snow-clad hill or riverbed where he might put down his machine and survive the certain wreck, days and weeks from human help or habitation. Flying at 33,000 feet, battling against adverse winds of 100 miles an hour in a temperature of 50 degrees below zero, the machines closed in on Makalu and Everest, not knowing what irresistible whirlpools and cataracts of air would be surging around the top of the world, knowing only that a forced landing meant death, since their planes would reach land at terrific speed in such thin air, and knowing that at such a height they were dependent for their lives upon the steady flow of oxygen through the feed pipes of their masks.
sounds like big machines.
It's Pegasus, all right. They're back.